Hello once again to all of you, and once again I'm back with this video in which I'm going to teach you all a new poem. The name of the poem is An Elementary School Classroom in Islam. The poet is Stephen Spender. So children, this poem is a very, what to say, it's written about social injustice done to the slum children. So this poem is about social injustice to the slum children and how they pass their life in poverty, and because of not good education system, due to many reasons which I will discuss while teaching you the poem, they become depressed. There is sadness in their faces. They lose the shiningness and glow of their faces. They pass their life in poverty, and they don't have proper, what to say, no proper school, no facilities of the school, and they are just sitting in one room in the slum area, and that classroom which is where they are sitting will be discussed in the poem. So now I'm going to discuss something about the poet, and then I will be telling you about the background of the poem, then the explanation part. Of course, we cannot forget the poetic devices. If any poetic devices and rhyming scheme is there in the poem, that will be discussed, and finally the main or the important question answer, and of course we cannot forget the new words. So with this I start, and I'm going to discuss first about the poet, so listen carefully. So first I will tell you about the poet. The poet is Stephen Spender. He was born in 1909 and died in 1995. He was an English poet and an essayist. That means he used to write many essays he had written, and some of his essays had become very famous in the world. He left University College, Oxford, without taking a degree and went to Berlin in 1930. Berlin is in Germany. Spender took a keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. Books by Spencer include Poems of Dedication, The Edge of Being, The Creative Element, The Struggle of the Modern, and an autobiography, Word Within Word, in an Elementary School Classroom in Islam. So these are some of his famous poet, and of course we are going to read an elementary school classroom in a slum. Now he had taken the theme of social injustice and class inequalities. So definitely children, there are two class. The word is divided into two class. One is the rich and the educated class of the powerful people and the important people of the society, and the other people are poor. They are passing their life in poverty. So again I repeat this thing, that Stephen Spender in An Elementary School Classroom in Islam is dealing with the theme of social injustice and class inequalities. Now class inequality, I have just told you, the whole world is divided into two classes, poor and the rich people. The children of a slum school are like the scum of the earth. Now children, first let me tell you what is the meaning of slum. Slum is those area which is where very less facilities are given by the government. No road, no electricity. People are just living in the house made by bricks, tire, polythene, and the whole area is very unhygienic. So in fact many people die due to poverty here, and there are so many lack of facilities in all the fields. There are no electricity, there are no road, there are no park, nothing like that. So these are a slum area. They now the children, in the first paragraph you will see that that's how the children looks in a slum area, like their faces are pale, they have lost their glow, their hairs are torn and uncombed. Okay, they are stunted figures with twisted bone. They also inherit some of the disease of their parents. They did belong to the dirty world of cramped holes. The poet thinks that the gap of the two words must be a bridge, and these unfortunate and poor children must be taken out of these dirty and unhygienic surroundings. So they must be, definitely they must be taken out of these dirty and unhygienic society. They have got full right to breathe in fresh air. They should be allowed to have full mental as well as physical development, and they should not, the small children when they are born only they are facing the burdens of life which keeps their heads weighing down. The future and education of these children are uncertain. So poet has thrown light on the central idea of the poem is, once again I repeat, social injustice and so inequality of the society. So which is termed here in the poem as a class inequality. So now children, I am going to discuss, I have already discussed about the poet. Now I am going to tell you about the background of the poem. So in the first paragraph the writer has thrown light on how those school children of Islam looked like. Okay, and in the second paragraph the word of the rich is not their word, they are the word only of the rich people, but they don't, these slum children, they don't have any place in that word. Then foggy slums, they are a type of blot on the map. And the last is, I think, the whole idea and the whole solution is deal here, that they should also be having freedom from bonding. So these 4 points will be discussed in the poem. Now they are, so I am going to discuss again the main points. First, the children of an elementary school classroom in Islam look pathetic and miserable. So how they look? They are looking very pathetic. They are in a miserable condition. Okay, they have pale faces. They are like rootless wild plant. Their hair are uncombed. They are look rootless wild plant. Of course, they are distressed. The burden of life keep their heads weighed down. There is no growth. There is no development in the society. They do have dreams, but their dreams are not fulfilled. Many people have donated many things, but only they donate. They doesn't take pain to bring out those children from the slum. Like in the wall of the classroom, a picture of Shakespeare is there. This we will be discussing while I will be doing the explanation. So literature and the work of Shakespeare are useless to them. Now the poet also throws light that this civilized world is of only important people and powerful people of the society. So this powerful world, this powerful society belongs to the rich and important people of the society. They have a hold on their society. The powerful dictators shape the map of the world at will, but their word is not the word of these unfortunate children. The future of these children are uncertain, and they live in narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. That means even the color of the sky is grey, not blue. Grey resemble sadness. gloom. Rivers and starry places exist only in their dreams. And the slum in where they are living are nothing less than living hells, as told by the poet. They are blot on the civilized world. These children, he is telling the other people think that they are blot on their civilized world. The windows of the world of joys and comforts are shut for them. So they don't have right to enjoy the happiness and comfortable life. Now at last the poet is telling that some people like the governments, governors, teacher and some of the powerful people can bring them out from their dirty slum, and they must also enjoy freedom of expression and learning. So these were the main points which were discussed in the poem. Now I will be telling you the whole background of the poem. After already I have discussed the main point. So the children of an elementary school classroom in Islam look pathetic and miserable. In the very first paragraph, when I will explain you the poem, you will feel how these children look. They look very miserable. Their condition is very pathetic. They are having lifeless and pale faces. Pale means without any glow. Their disorderly hair are torn around and look like rootless weed. Now they are hairless. They never comb their hair, and in fact they don't have to do anything. They don't feel like doing anything for themselves, like they don't want to comb their hair, as if they look as if the whole burden of the life is on them. They are depressed and keep their heads down. And the worst thing is that they inherit the disease of their parents. Of course these children do have a dream. I'm not telling that they are not having dream, because they are having a mind which is always is full of thoughts. So they do have dreams. A sweet young boy is sitting unnoted at the back of his dim classroom. Now children, when I will start the poem, the scene is of a classroom of the elementary school. Then I will teach you a small boy, very sweet boy sitting, and nobody is noticing him. He is dreaming of squirrel games in trees and of other interesting places. So what he is dreaming? That he is running after squirrel in trees. Okay, and he is for some time he has forgotten his he forgot his dull and drab classroom. So for a time being he is dreaming that he is playing in nice beautiful trees are there, which you will never find in slum area, and he is playing a squirrel game. He forgot that he is sitting in a dull and drab classroom. Now children, many rich people, they give, in the second paragraph we will read that many rich people give donations, and the picture of Shakespeare head are hung and on the unpleasant creamy wall. Creamy is here the wall, white wall, white wall, which that means a whitewash, a white color whitewash has been done in the wall, that has turned into creamy. But and so many pictures which is being donated by the rich people are kept here, but they are useless to these unfortunate children. Now children, after this the poet has explained about the domes of the institution of the civilized world. That means he is telling about the best school of the civilized world. So their school is very dirty in a slum area, while as dome of the institution of the civilized world shining in every city. That means all the school in the city area are maintaining hygiene, cleanliness. They are giving lot of facility to their student. and so are they in Tyrol Valley. Now Tyrol Valley is in Austria, and there the children listen the music of bell. There's a beautiful flower bed is there, and from there fragrance of flowers, they can feel the fragrance of beautiful flowers. Now the map of this word, the poet further tells, the map of this word is made and reshaped by the people in power. But for these children of a school in the slum, that word is meaningless. So now children, the powerful people, they draw a map, they reshape the map because they are in power. But for these children of a school in the slum, that word is meaningless. Their own window and house are dirty. They are surrounded by unpleasant surrounding. They are living in a unhygienic world. The fog of uncertainty dominates their future. They are doomed to live in a narrow street closed in by the bluish grey sky. Now children, here one word is there which indicate the life is not happy, and that is grey. Grey is a color which indicate gloom, that is sadness. So their streets are closed in by the bluish grey sky. Their world is far away from river, gaps and stars. And the pictures which is donated to them, like the picture of Shakespeare which is hung on the wall, they have no interest for this type of picture. Nor the map of the word does them any good. This map shows a word which is not there. Now children, in the wall also there is a word map, and that they are not interested. In fact, they are not bothered to see that map because that word is not there. This word is full of attraction. These are beautiful shapes, warm of the sun and love, and which is not found in the slum area. The children living in a slum area, they are not going to enjoy all this thing. Their life starts with the fog of uncertainty and ends with the endless night of their death. Now, it has been also discussed by the poet that they are very thin, because in one line he had told, on the heap of the waste these small children wander with their bones peeping out. That means they don't have enough food to eat also. They don't have sufficient money to fulfill their basic needs. Some of the children, they are wearing spectacles of steel with mended glasses. That means glasses are mended. They look like piece of broken bottles on stones. So, and their most of the time is spent in these dirty and foggy slums. These slums are nothing less than living hells. In fact, the poet has discussed, and he had given the title that they are plot on their civilized world, the world of the rich and the great. Now, the map of the civilized world and the slum of these unfortunate children are two entirely different worlds. So one belongs to the rich and powerful people of the world, and other belong to the children of the slum area. Now here Stephen Spender, the poet, he is telling that people who are having an important position in the society, like governors, inspectors, visitors and other teachers and other important person, must abridge this gap. They must peep into the world of these children living in the slum. They must try to take them out from the slum. They must make their own world the world of these slum children too. The environment of the slum has blocked all their gates to progress, so that gate of progress should be open. They must be allowed to breathe in the open. They must be allowed to come out of their narrow lanes and dirty slum of the town. Let them enjoy the beauty of the green fields, Their words should also extend to the sky blue, to the sky blue waves rising over the golden sands. Let the pages of wisdom be open for them, and let them express freely without any fear. So this is a solution given to us by the poet, and he wanted that some of the important people of the society should come forward and help these type of children. Only those people make or create history whose language has the warmth and strength of the sun. And he believed that some of the children from slum area has the language which has the warmth and strength of the sun. They can change the history, they can create the history. So here I finish the background of the poem. Now children, the whole poet rotates around the children of the slum area, and then he told that he threw light on the two different society of the people, and at last the poet had given the solution that some important people and powerful people of the world should come to help these children, so that they can also breathe in the under blue sky. They can also enjoy the beauty of nature. They should also have the language which has the warmth and the strength of the sun. They should not live in poverty and fear. They should have full right to come from that poverty or fear. So here I finished the background of the poem. Now I will be doing the explanation of the poem, and before I will be reading the first stanza, and then after reading the first stanza I will be telling you the important meaning of the new words. All the meaning of the new words will be discussed, and of course the difficult expression will also be discussed. So first let me read the stanza 1. Far from gusty waves these children faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. The tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bones, his decks. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. So this is the first stanza which I have read just now. So I will be telling you now the meaning of the new word, and please note it down. So first word which I am going to tell you is gusty. Okay, here gusty. Gusty means blowing strongly. Gusty means, please write, blowing strongly. Then rootless. Here rootless means uprooted. Then you can see this word weeds. Okay, here is weeds. Weeds means useless wild plant. And then torn around. Let me mark it. Torn around. It is written here, you can see. The second line in the second line of the first stanza at the last. Torn round. Torn round means scattered around in disorder. Scattered around in disorder. Pallor. Pallor means pale faces. Way down. Depressed due to the burden of society or sadness. Depressed due to the burden, or we can also say it, the other meaning of this word is unhappy, sad. Paper seeming, looking lean and thin. Paper seeming means looking lean and thin. Stunted, underdeveloped, not fully growth. Unlucky, here unlucky means unfortunate. Heir, successor. Twisted, distorted. Reciting, here enumerating. Then unnoted, not noticed or marked. Squirrel, I think everybody know what is a squirrel. It's a small creature which we see daily. Tree room. Tree room is a place made in the tree. And children, this indicate to the classroom. Okay, this indicate to the classroom. So these are the new words, important words, and now I will be explaining you the first paragraph. First stanza. Far from gusty waves, these children faces like rootless weed, the hair torn around their pallor. Now here the poet is telling the children are sitting in the classroom of a slum school. Now it is not a very good school, it is an elementary school classroom. So the children are sitting, and these children are studying in an elementary school classroom, and it is situated in a slum area. Now they are far from away from the winds or sea wave. Now they are not able to enjoy, they don't know, in fact they have not seen what is a wind or sea waves, so they are not able to enjoy. Far from gusty waves these children faces. So once again I repeat, these children are sitting in the classroom of a slum school. They are far from away from the winds or sea waves. Like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. Pallor, I told you, pale faces. Now rootless weed is here he is telling about the uncombed hair of the children. That means he is comparing here the uncombed hair of the children with rootless weed. So I will tell you, after explaining this, I will tell you at last that which figure of speech is used here. So the disorderly and unkempt means uncombed hair on their pale faces look like rootless wild plant. Now here the like rootless weed. Okay, you have to tell me that which poetic devices is this. And there is one word which I will give you as a hint, like is used. So now you have to find it out which poetic device is used here. I will tell you after doing the poem. Now the tall girl with her way down head. So children, once again I repeat the meaning of the three lines. The children are sitting in the classroom, and where they are sitting in a slum area. They are far away from the winds of sea waves. That means they are not able to enjoy the beauty of sea waves and the wind, because they are in a slum area and they did not even dream to see all this beauty of the world. The disorderly and unkempt here. Unkempt, remember a new word is there with you. Unkempt, UNKEMPT. This means uncombed hair on their pale faces looks like rootless wild plant. Now the tall girl with her way down head. Way down, I told you, way down means depressed due to the burden of her life. The tall girl who's sitting there is depressed. Now one girl is also sitting there in that slum area classroom, and she is looking very depressed, very sad. She keeps her head down. Children, the burden of life, due to the burden of life, she is not able to smile. She is not able to raise her head. Well, then the paper seaming boy. The paper seaming, I told you the meaning of paper seaming is very thin. Now children, a small boy is also sitting there in the classroom with that girl, and he is very very thin, and his eyes are bulging out like those of the rat. So the eyes of his eyes are bulging with, see, it is written here, the tall girl with her way down head, the paper seaming boy. Paper seaming boy means a thin boy with rat size. Now what do you mean by rat size? That means the eyes are bulging out like rat. They stunted unlucky ear. Stunted, I told you, undeveloped, because their basic need is not fulfilled. They are not getting nutritious food, so their the growth is blocked. That means they are not able to have a proper growth, and their body remains undeveloped. So just because of the lack of food or a nutritious food, their body is not able to grow properly. Their body remains undeveloped. The stunted unlucky ear of twisted bone. Now and the boy, he inherit twisted bones of his parents. Now children, when they don't drink milk, they don't have lack of calcium, they also inherited this thing, because they also they never get nutritious food. So their whole bones, they start getting twisted at a very early age. So this is due to the lack of proper food or lack of nutritious food. So children, now I finished the first stanza of the poem, and in my next video I will be doing the other three videos. I explaining the other three stanza of the poem. And with this I end my video here. Thank you and have a nice time. Goodbye.